Hello and welcome to White Glove Reviews. In this video, what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk a little bit about an experiment that I've been conducting. Now, what I did is this particular account that I have for Splinterlands is I did a video earlier where I was curious if you could basically start on the last day of the league with a fresh account and get to Silver League with under $20 worth of, well, it was $10 for the spellbook and $20 for credits. And this is the same account, and I haven't added anything to it. And I've kind of just been, dabbling a little bit here and there. And one thing I was curious about is if it was possible to rent and maintain in silver. And so what I did, let me show you what I did. Now, what I started with yesterday was I started with 280 DEC, and I spent 260 DEC to rent cards. Now, let me show you what I rent, and also don't take this number as like a normal outcome because, well, I'll explain in a minute. But let's see. Let's look at the cards that I rented. So the cards that I rented are as follows. What I did is when I was renting cards, I planned my rental strategy. I basically picked summoners that I wanted to rent, and in this case, what I did was I rented Alaric, I rented Mylar, and I rented Zia. Anyway, I rented her for points more than anything else. And my plan was, what I was going to do is I was going to have a blue deck, a water deck, and an earth deck. Sorry, I'm running off magic terms. Now, and she's just kind of there for points. So what I did was, let's look at the water first. Well, actually, let's look at so for the earth deck, I just rented these two cards. I rented an Oaken Behemoth because he was a lot of points. He's like 1,000 points. And also, he's a good card. And the Wood Nymph, she's just like Wood Nymph, Oaken Behemoth, and Mylar combined with, say, Unicorn Mustang and whatever else you want. That's a decent thing that'll carry you pretty far into silver. Now, the real part, though, where I spent the majority of my points was with the water deck. And what I did was, well, let's work our way through it. So legendarily, I went with Jin Oceanus, and this guy is ridiculous. He's very, very good, and he's 500 points, so it's not too bad. Poseidon, 1,000 points, he's kind of just filler more than anything else. But in some of the 99-point battles, I did end up using him. Now, this guy, Torholio? Anyway, the big crystal bull guy, he ended up being a tank a lot. But, wow, Axe Masters are incredible. Like, the Axe Master is really, really important. And Coral Wraith is really good, too. And, well, Lobster Damus is respectable as well. Now, for the other ones, Venari Wavesmith is pretty much a standard, as are some of these other ones. Now, I rented higher level versions of some of these cards, like the Ice Pixie and the Water Elemental, kind of to get points, and also kind of because since I was using a leveled up summoner, I might as well use leveled up cards. And lastly, for the commons, I rented a Sea Monster, a Narwhal, and those two guys. Now, what happened was I ended up spending 260 DEC for 15,000 points. And also, well, there's a couple cards in here. Let's see. Did I rent anything else for just points? I ended up renting, I rented an Armor Smith and a Venari Crystal Smith to have as just kind of extra. And I rented 8 Clay Golems because there was a point where, I had 750 points worth of something expire, and I just needed points. Same with the Octopider, although I think I did end up playing him one time accidentally on a map that I couldn't. Now, the other thing is I rented a bunch of gold cards. I'm sorry, I rented a bunch of neutral cards, and some of them were gold. So, like, I rented the Highland Archer, I rented the Mantoid, I rented the Parasitic Growth, Gelatinous Cube, Battering Ram. I got to tell you, I'm a big fan of Battering Ram, and Parasitic Growth is like a strong second. Also, Uraeus, he is incredible. It is incredible. I don't know. So, again, Sandworm for big battles. Also, Warchang, Chang, Chaang. This guy he can be pretty helpful at times. And also, I rented an Enchanted Pixie just to have extra magic damage for my summoner. So anyway, it turns out. Well, let me get my calculator real quick, and we'll take a look. So I started out at 280. I basically spent 260. Let's see. I got about 15,000. 260. So I spent like 57 DEC. Wait. It cost me. Am I doing that wrong? I spent 1 DEC for 57 collection power, which is a really pretty terrible rate. But the thing is, though, it allowed me to play in silver. And so I ended up, well, let's again do the math. So I started at 20. Well, okay, so I have 527 minus the 20 I started with, minus 250. So I think I lost 3 DEC. Now, I also, though, in losing the DEC, what I managed to do, though, is I did manage to owned. Here we go. I managed to. Oh, there we go. I managed to pick up. Let's see. In my notes, I got a Wave Master. I got that guy. I got Twilight Basilisk, and I got 20 DEC from 2 daily rewards. So I don't know. I mean, like, the thing is, it looks like it's maintainable, and it's just going to depend on like how well you do. Now, the reason my DEC points are distorted is during the time I did this, I also played in an event. If you go over to events, you can join events over here, and there was like a 20 DEC tournament that paid out. Let's see, completed. Here we go. This one. I played in the NFTdraft.io tournament, and I took 8th place. So for 20 DEC, I made 250. And I mean, it's one of the things, like, I took advantage of the fact that I had the cards rented for the Silver League, and it was I lost it again. Hold on. It was like a bronze. It was Bronze League, and you could use basically Bronze League stuff, so it wasn't bad. And I mean, the problem I ran into with the tournament is toward the end, like in the top 16, I ran into people who had massive card pools, and I was limited to the card pool that I had in Water and Earth. And also, I don't have the experience in playing, like, some of the like the $1,000 basically super high end cards. I just didn't have the experience against them. And so that's one of the things, like, that was a failing on my part. I feel like with the run I was having, had I not basically sucked the last round and fallen apart, I could have done a little better. So that's another thing you could do in enhancing, like, the return, is you can try some of these tournaments. Like, for example, right here, if you wanted to, you could play in each of these 3 tournaments. You could play at each of these. Oh, wait, those are completed. Hold on. Upcoming. you could like play in the 2 p.m., the 4 p.m., the 8 p.m., and the 9:30, and as long as you do, decent, it's a little bit extra, and it's not much of an entry fee. And the tournaments are kind of interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of report on that progress. So the answer to can you basically sustain in silver renting? Maybe. It's going to also depend on one big thing going forward is it's going to depend on the changes they made to the DEC payout versus how that affects rental costs. So anyway, if you have any questions or suggestions, or if there's anything that I can help with, please let me know in the comments. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And I hope you'll have an excellent day.